Welcome to the Big 12 Women's Basketball Tip-Off of the 2019-20 season. Yes, we're at Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, home for the Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship over the next 5 years. And that's at the end of the season, but today we are at the tip-off, the media day for the beginning of the season. We're going to start with, and we started already with one panel earlier. Now we've got 5 more coaches and players up here from the various Big 12 schools to be able to find out their perspective and get started on the basketball season. I'm Brenda Van Lingen, and I am joined by the head coach for Iowa State, Bill Fennelly, on the end in his 25th season at Iowa State. Jeff Mittie, the head coach at Kansas State. Llanusa from Oklahoma. Kianna Ray from TCU, and Marlene Stollings in her second year at Texas Tech. So let's get started, everyone. Now that you all have your microphones, it's time for a little karaoke. Are you ready? And Bill already put his microphone down. Let's get started with a lot of fans get a chance to see you during the course of the season. They may not have seen you since last March or April. Let's start off with just letting the fans know, what have you been doing individually over the course of the offseason, and what has your team been doing? We'll start with you, Bill.
Playing with my grandkids probably is the most important thing for me. But like most of us, you spend a lot of time recruiting and getting your team ready. I think the biggest thing is trying to assimilate a new team. As college coaches and players, every year is different. You lose great players, you gain great players. So you're trying to build the chemistry of your new team and understand what's ahead, embrace what the new challenges are, and certainly look forward to playing a part of the best women's basketball league in the country. And we work every day to try and be a team that represents our school and our league that way, and hopefully we can do that.
Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, same as Bill. I don't have any grandkids, though, so I didn't play with any grandkids. But also, I had a good summer. Had a little summer off. Also got our new players in, and spent August with Peyton making the Pan Am team. Was in Peru following the USA basketball, so that was a good August time. And then got our group on campus, and been trying to do the same thing, get them to gel as quickly as we can, and get our group to play at as high a level as they can early, and see how this team gels together. And we're all in that process right now, but it's an exciting time for all college basketball coaches and players.
Yeah, it's October. Practices just getting started in full swing, and exhibition games in the next 7 to 10 days already. So we're looking forward to that. Anna, how was your off season?
My off season was pretty busy. I personally have been working on just the consistency of my shot and my three-point shot, but then also defense, just making sure I'm a lockdown defender. But as a group, we've been really working on our connection and just gelling all of our good pieces together, and just making sure that's going to all flow together.
All right. Kianna?
Yeah, we have a lot of returners coming back, a lot of experience. We have 3 newbies as well, so we wanted to make sure that we weren't focusing too much and skipping fundamentals and skipping the small steps. So making sure to revisit all of those small foundational elements that make our team so great. And also individually focusing on being a leader consistently, showing up every day in practice, and always bringing energy and effort, and keeping that high level of just competitiveness, and making sure that culture is feeding into everyone on our team.
I always love listening to the players talk here. We know why you are here, being spokespeople for your team. Just a tremendous job of articulating that and sharing. We're glad that you're here sharing with us. You kind of are outnumbered here with the coaches, so we'll make sure that you get your opportunities. Marlene, what did you do in your off season?
Well, the most exciting thing personally was probably get out of my boxes and actually get moved in. So that was really nice to have a home and to feel like I was settled. So our team, really exciting in terms of building the culture this offseason. I think that's been a major focus for us, and going into year 2. We have 3 core returners, the bulk of all of our minutes and scoring returns, and we combine with that 7 newcomers, and 2 of which were there last year practicing with us because they set out due to transfer. So I think just building our culture has been a major focus, and helping the newcomers adjust and really get into the flow of things.
So let's build on that a little bit. Can you take us through, each of you, and we'll start on this end with Marlene, just an outlook for your team this year as fans are tuning in and wondering what's going to be happening in the Big 12, what's Texas Tech got, what does each team have? What can people expect from your team this year as you move into your second year?
Well, I think for us, you're going to see more of our style of play. You know, we really like to get up and down and be high scoring, and we have people that can put the ball in the basket at positions 1 through 5, and we're actually able to extend the floor and shoot the 3-ball positions 1 through 5. So that's been really exciting because that is how we like to play, and we now have people in positions that are able to do that for us. So that's something that we really are looking forward to.
All right, we're looking forward to that as well. Kianna, things look a little different at TCU this year.
Yeah, I would say for us, just a lot of up pace, up tempo play, really running, getting up and down the floor, and then scoring just kind of from all positions. Last year we lost 2 really important scorers, but now we're kind of just distributing that scoring volume amongst other players. So people stepping into some big-time scoring roles is going to be really important for us this year, and just keeping that defensive mentality. We know that we win games on the defensive end, so just making sure to everyone be locked into that and doing the nitty and gritty stuff and getting down and getting on loose balls and all of that.
The nitty and gritty stuff, for sure. Fantastic. Anna?
For us, we have everybody coming back this year, so I would just say that you're going to see a lot of scoring. We can score the ball. One thing that we're really going to be focusing on and that you guys will see is defensively just blocking out on the defensive boards, and just really you're going to feel our presence on defense this year, definitely.
Jeff.
Teach my players to box out. We haven't boxed out in 3 years. I've liked our group. I think we need to build off of how we ended last year. We won 8 of 9, 5 on the road in Big 12 play, which everybody knows is so hard to do. And we need to build off of that. And we've got, we added a grad transfer in Angela Harris at the point guard spot. And then we had a couple players coming off of key injuries that have had good falls. So we've got a veteran group. This is a deeper group than we've had. And then Peyton, obviously, don't get her as a 2-sport athlete much right now. We get her about 5 hours a week, and kind of blending her into that takes some time. And but our group has been it's a veteran group. It's a group that is deeper than we've been in the past, and so we just need to hopefully build off of what how we finished last season.
Great. Bill?
Like I said earlier, I think college teams change, and when you lose the Big 12 Player of the Year, and you lose your starting point guard, and maybe a person in Meredith Burkhall that wore our uniform with more dignity and class than any player I've ever coached. That's a hard thing to do, but they taught, hopefully, our current players what it means. As coaches, we all talk about having programs, not just teams. And when you play in this league again, you understand. I will go back home and say transition defense must be important this year because everyone's going to run and score.
That's right.
So we better get better at transition defense, which we've struggled with. But our team is it's a group that understands that there's expectations in what we lost. And every player wants to be in a key role, every player I've ever had. Well, now we have players who get to be in a key role that maybe now you got it. So let's see if you can do it and do it in this league. So like everyone, we're excited about the possibilities and just hope everyone stays healthy and everyone can have their best team. And when that happens, it's fun for the fans, it's fun for the players to play, and certainly will be something that our league will embrace, and we can showcase some really, really special, talented players.
You've showcased a lot of really talented players over a lot of years, 25 years now at Iowa State. And earlier this year, you had a reunion to bring back some of those players. What did it mean to you to bring back so many of your players from your 25 years there?
Well, I think the reunion we had, I think when you see players that literally played on our first team and players like Andrew Ellie and Tracy Gahan so many great players, the Megan Taylors that actually won championships in this building.
Yeah.
And to see that how much they love Iowa State, how much Iowa State's still a part of them. But for me, we had a very nice dinner on Friday night, and I think the best part of it for me, besides seeing all of them and all their kids, and like Michelle said, we're getting old. I'm getting old, not Michelle. But for them to interact with our current players.
Yeah.
Like those teams didn't have charter flights and all the food that you wanted and fancy practice gyms and fancy Marriotts, and it was drive to the game and drive back, and I think for them to express their love for Iowa State and the current players to learn from them, I think meant a lot, and to see their success in life as teachers and lawyers and doctors and mothers and whatever they are. So it was a great weekend, and one that I'll remember for a long time.
It was great to see the pictures from that. A lot of great faces, and you're right. So many of those players won championship right here in Municipal Auditorium. And speaking of which, Jeff, you are a native of the Kansas City area, grew up in Blue Springs, Missouri, for people that don't know, just on the very east side of the metro area, about 45 minutes from here, 30, 45 minutes, depends on how fast you drive.
You can get here in 20 if you really push.
Okay, all right. And so what does it mean to have the championship returning to Kansas City and joining the men's championship?
Yeah, I grew up going to Big 8 championships in this city, and college basketball is such a fabric, a part of this Kansas City area, and the whole area just embraces. I grew up going to the old NAIA tournament that was so much fun because you got to get out of school to do it. Mm-hmm. Games were all day long, and you just loved it. So I'm excited that it's back in Kansas City. I've never coached in the Big 12 in Kansas City, so I'm excited personally, but I think the community is really going to embrace it. It's such the men's tournament, there is no better men's tournament in the country, and I just think that we'll be able to build off that with the women's tournament again, and I think it'll be really exciting to have it back. And I know I'm excited to do our part as a local school to keep this tournament here in Kansas City, but we've got to put butts in the seats, and that's what's going to do it. And we've got to get an exciting atmosphere in here in Municipal. And I think for the players, educating them on that there's been 9 Final Fours in here. You're going to play in a building that has had some of the best players in the history of basketball. Mm-hmm. Both professionally and college, and you're going to walk in here, and this is we put 6,000-7,000 in here for the championship. This will be a great venue. And by the way, the reason we have 3 coaches up here is because we need 3 to guard these 2. Okay, so might need more than 3, by the way, because I don't rotate as well as I used to defensively. Okay, but anyways, it's exciting to have the tournament back here.
You mentioned when you were young and the elementary kids went to the NAIA tournament. We have elementary kids already signed up to come here. The Friday quarterfinals on March 13th, already 1,200 kids are signed up to be a part of a reading and fitness challenge and come to those Friday games. And it should be more. And we've just announced it 3 weeks ago. So
well, I was a little older, but I was in high school, and I would swing into Arthur Bryant's, grab the biggest sandwich I could grab, and head to the games, and loved it all day long. So
that's a good experience, a lot of good memories. Ada, your team was so young last year. You were made up of freshmen and sophomores and battled in this tough Big 12 conference. You're still going to be young. I mean, it's going to be mostly sophomores and juniors now that you're relying on. What is it that you learned as a team kind of battling through last year, and what are your expectations for this year?
I think something that we are really focusing on is just the future, not looking too much back on the past. But we've grown so much. Those sophomores now, they have grown so much. That freshman year for them has taught them so much, and I think that's going to be a very important thing this year for us. They've been through it, they've got to play through it, and they know what they're doing now. And I just think that our connection will be a lot different on the court.
It's not easy playing in the Big 12 when you're a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. No doubt about it. Kianna, you all made a run after the Big 12 championship last year. You were invited to the WNIT, ended up advancing to the semifinals, had some great home games along the way, some great wins along the way. What did that experience in the WNIT do for your team, and how does it help you this year?
Yeah, so in the moment, it's heartbreaking to see that you're not in the NCAA tournament, but you have to have a really quick turnaround and mindset that you're going to go win the WNIT. So coming up short the past 2 years in the WNIT in the semifinals has really just fueled this team. We don't want to have that feeling again. We know what it feels like. We know how close that we have come. And that experience of the WNIT, it is a great tournament. There are a bunch of great teams in there. So being able to play against some of the best competition still in the country is awesome. And having that level of experience and having players who have felt that and know what it takes to get there is really what is going to push our team to be successful this year. We didn't go to the NCAA tournament, but we did go to a great tournament in the WNIT.
Yeah, and just to have that momentum at the end of the year is a positive thing, a good thing. Marlene, your team at Texas Tech doubled the win total from the previous year. That made it the second biggest turnaround at a Power 5 school in the country. So what do you want to do, and how do you go about building on that?
Yes, well, we build on it with players, and we build on it with our culture. And I think those are the two areas, as I mentioned earlier, that we really focused on over the summer. And we're really anticipating and eager to see how we can perform this year with the additions that we're adding to a Brittany, a Chrislyn, and a Sydney Goodson. And I think just the daily repetition of that, and it was a big jump last year, but such a storied program with great history and tradition, and we're honored to be a part of it and honored to wear that jersey. Our players are very much excited to put us back on the national map and take Texas Tech back to where it used to be and the great success that it used to be a part of. And I think that they're very driven to get us back into tournament play come March.
You talk about those three core players. Those are the three returning players that were your leading scorers last year. In Brittany Brewer, she had the USA basketball experience. She was up here earlier to talk about that. Chrislyn Carr was the Big 12 freshman of the year. And then you had Sydney Goodson. All those players contributing. What are you needing from the other players around them to take that jump?
Well, I think for the surrounding support staff is just playing their role and staying within their role. We don't need them to be extraordinary. We need them to be who they are. We need them to perform for what we recruited them to be and let them be themselves. And I think that's real important. There's not this added pressure that they have to do something extreme. They have a great core and nucleus around them, and just to be who they are and fit into the system and do what's asked of them and not put unnecessary pressure on themselves.
As I'm going to move on to Kianna. Thank you for that. We talked about the players that you're leaving. We didn't mention them specifically. Amy Okonkwo and Jordan Moore were the two bigs inside, and Amy was so versatile. And so you take those two away, it does change the look of your team. You mentioned some of the changes, but what do you think this team is going to be known for this year?
I think we're just going to be known for our defense. Just really locking in. We have a lot of good lockdown defenders that we're going to stop scorers. But we also have some guards that can really stretch the floor. One of our people who transferred last year, J.C. Bradley, will be on the court this year, and she can knock down a shot. So that's going to really stretch out the defense. Our point guard, Lauren, she is just does whatever it takes. So that competition level goes into all of us. And then myself can stretch the floor, get to the basket. And just all of our players are just so versatile. We are a 1 through 5 team, but everyone can kind of fill into different roles. So just knowing that we can drive on teams, we can shoot, we can stretch it, we can just kind of do everything. But we have to remember that we have to get it on the defensive end first.
Spoken like a true coach in the making. Anna, you have a chance with a new assistant coach on your staff by the name of Jackie Stiles. Did you know who Jackie Stiles was before she came as an assistant, and what have you learned from her so far?
Yeah, I've known of her. She's great, phenomenal player back in her day, but I've learned so much from her, whether that be about shooting. She's our defensive coach now, and it's crazy because she's the one that was out there scoring all those buckets. But she's taught me many shooting drills. I know she works with T-Rob on her shooting drills, but defensively, she doesn't stop talking about defense, and that's something that we really need. And she's taught us to just really look at defense how we look at offense. We love getting on the offensive end and scoring, but defense, it's not an exciting thing for us yet. And I think this preseason has been
It's not an exciting thing for any player.
No, but we're getting there, and she's taught us a lot about defense, and just to learn to love it.
And Jackie Stiles, who ended up being the all-time leading NCAA scorer, is teaching the defense. I love that. I need to talk to Jackie about that.
Job.
I'm sure she is. She has work ethic like none other, for sure. Coach Mittie, you had a chance. I want to make sure you get a chance to talk about Peyton Williams a little bit. Such a special player. You don't have her but for 5 hours a week right now.
Right.
But she is such a special player for this program and in this league.
Yeah, she had a great summer, and obviously making USA basketball on the Pan Am team was great for her. We've seen her take big strides from that confidence level. One of the things, Peyton, that she shoots the ball so well, but she doesn't always hunt her shot enough for us. We've begged her to shoot it more and more, but now we're not having to do that. Super talented player, really smart, high IQ kid. Couldn't do what she does without a high IQ because she's having to do what others do with less reps, less practice times. The challenge for us is getting this team to gel as quickly as they can because, like I said, 5 hours of practice time right now is not much. But she's a very, very talented player. She's going to have the ability. She stretched the floor more last year from the three. Now we've got a center with her, which will, I think, add to her game because the redshirt freshman kid will really allow Peyton to be facing the basket more and will allow her a little more freedom. I felt like last year people really tried to beat her up block to block and was able to get more help to her. Hopefully we can have better depth and better balance on the court to help her have some more space.
Yes, thank you. With just 30 seconds left, Coach, I know you're excited about being back here in Kansas City at Municipal Auditorium. What would you tell fans about coming here and experiencing the Big 12 Championship?
Just can't wait to be here. Certainly this will be the basketball center of the world in March. And to be here with the men's tournament, everyone knows it's the greatest men's basketball tournament in the country. I know our fans are excited. And I really, as Jeff said, the players are going to love playing here. We'll be the last Autonomy 5 women's tournament going on, so we'll even get more focus that time of year. So it's going to be a great experience, and can't wait to get back down here. And we really want to thank the people of Kansas City for all your work and look forward to being down here in March.
We look forward to having everybody back here March 12th through 15th in 2020. At the end of the season, we'll see you all back here in March.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.